It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you. Because that's New Orleans, and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Other than we're all New Orleans in a bar, today we're at the fabulous Maple Leaf Bar on Oak Street in Uptown New Orleans. The Maple Leaf is the longest-running music club in New Orleans. It's been hosting music for 45 years. You can hear New Orleans' greatest musicians here every night of the week. George Porter is here every Monday night. The Rebirth Brass Band plays here every Tuesday. And the piano legend John Cleary is here at the Maple Leaf every Friday night through Jazz Fest, which is pretty unbelievable, actually, isn't it?
Very exciting.
Yeah, you get to hear really great Grammy Award-winning musicians in a really intimate setting here at the Maple Leaf, which is one of the great things about being a New Orleanian, right? Julie?
That's right.
Yes.
Among the many.
Julie is spelt Julie. Couret. Not correct, but Couret.
Correct.
Couret.
That is correct.
And today's music theme was being played by Mark Carson. Thank you, Mark.
Thank
Very
you,
nice. What do you call that?
What do I call that?
Yeah.
It's a song that I wrote with John Papagrove. It's called Jet Lagged and Loaded.
Jet Lagged and Loaded
Which
is a
is
good
kind
combo.
of appropriate for
It
New
is,
Orleans.
considering it's Ash. We're recording this on Ash Wednesday 2020.
Yes.
What a day. How was Mardi Gras for you, Julie? It was pretty bad, I believe.
No, it was, carnival season was rough because I'm a member of the crew of Nyx.
Right. I saw you on television.
Did you? Yes. I do a lot for Channel 4, so when we had the fatality, they called me the next day and said, would you mind just giving us a few words? They're having a hard time getting in touch with our captain, and she and I have a really good relationship. I knew she would trust me to speak candidly on camera, but not on behalf officially of Nyx, just as a writer. But I was able to ride again, so I made up for my experience, rode in a Mardi Gras Parade Sunday evening, and...
As a make-up for Nyx on the Nyx float?
Our captain also runs a women's crew in Jefferson Parish that runs on Sunday night, and we were invited. Anybody that wanted to go would get a spot on a new float. So I got to ride with all my friends.
So what number float were you on in Nyx?
27.
And what was the number of the float that
21.
had that accident? So you were right behind, was 6 floats behind.
I found out about the accident because parade goers came up to the side of my float and told me.
And we're telling you, okay.
Yeah, so if you don't know what we're talking about here, somebody was killed.
Yes, a woman.
When they got knocked over by...
She was not knocked over.
She was standing in the middle of a tandem float. Do you know what actually happened?
So what I do know is that a tandem float is connected by a very thick piece of steel, and it's hard to climb over a tandem connector even if it's not moving because it's about waist high, and it's awkward to lift your leg that high. And the feedback that I have received from people that were on that block is that she attempted to cross between the two floats and maybe did not realize they were connected. I'm not sure, but it's physically impossible to jump that. It's like jumping on a moving train.
Right. So she was trying to actually get from one side of the street to the other.
Or she was trying to get between the tandems for some reason.
Wow.
But if the feedback is that this was she was displaying erratic behavior all evening.
So she was drunk or something. You don't know that.
Right, but just that the data points is that she was displaying erratic behavior.
Do you know if it's true that she was chopped in half?
I know that it was very ugly, and the people that came up to me on the side of the float were traumatized, and a friend of mine's cousin did administer CPR to her, so to look to the point where she could have been revived in that moment.
Well, she couldn't have been chopped in half if she had CPR.
Right, so no one would want to go and do that.
No.
So that can't be true, because that's what I heard from these kids who told me that they saw it, but that is not true. Right?
So I'm sure it was very disturbing and ugly.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, that float must weigh about 40 million tons at the back of it.
I mean, you've got 80 women on it, not to mention the actual box itself, and and of course the fatality extended to Endymion that evening, and it's been a very rough, very emotional carnival. I do feel that I'm at closure with it because I cried a lot for a few days, but being able to ride with my fellow Nyx sisters Sunday night gave us a really good sense of closure. The crowds were so sweet. People lined the streets.
Well, by Sunday night, nobody had been killed for a whole 24 hours.
For a whole
at
24
that
hours,
point.
we were death-free,
Yeah.
fatality-free.
Right. So do you know anything about the Endymion person who was killed?
What I do know is that this is what the feedback I've heard is that the man was surrounded by a lot of crowds. It was very crowded, and there sometimes gets to be a lot of pushing and shoving around a float, and that he somehow lost his footing.
So that was just an accident. He wasn't trying to get from one side of the street to the other.
No, that was a terrible accident that, honestly, with the way people behave at parades, was bound to happen.
I'm really surprised that they actually don't have fatalities more often.
Right. With the way people act,
and everybody's drinking.
and chase floats and bang on the side of floats.
Right. How long have you been riding for Nyx?
I'm an original riding member. I'm a charter member. I joined before we had a parade permit and a name.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you join something that didn't have a name?
So there was an email circulating that said a woman is starting a new all-female crew. So for those of you that cannot get into an all-female crew, we have a new one.
So you were a reject from Muses?
I was not a reject. I was on the wait list for a very long time, and I was tired of waiting. And actually, I got off the wait list because I was like, "Ah, fuck this." I just no offense to Muses. I just was done waiting.
They've never killed anybody in Muses, so what kind of a parade is that?
I know, right? What fun is it?
So what did you do after the whole thing? After they disbanded it, did you go home and?
So
Must
it was
be
very
pretty
so you're on the route, and then when the announcement comes via our float lieutenants, because they were in a group communication message, and they said, "Y'all, that's it, it's over." Like literally, the float lights go off, like it's like a switch, and it goes, poof, and you're in darkness, and we're just looking
You're
around.
on Magazine Street at this point.
Yes, still on Magazine in Bordeaux. We'd only just been
Magazine in Bordeaux. Okay.
6 blocks maybe on the route, and as a senior member of the crew and doing well with responding to accidents, I knew that there's a few things that needed to happen emotionally while we waited, which one was to pray. So I had everybody, we were still harnessed in our spot, so I asked everybody to just gather your sister's hand, reach out, extend. We need a moment to be together and bless ourselves in this moment and take a moment that, we have not been robbed. We had this day together, we had this year together, but we're going to get through this together as a float, and to remember that and to have a moment of silence for the woman who passed.
Right.
Wow.
So then we were rerouted back up Napoleon, down to Chapatulas, and brought back to our lots. And it was, chaos because you have 3,000 women that are normally bussed in very strategically. And now it's, all right, so, and this is not the crew. This is just the way it happened. Matter of fact, it was the crew that got us back to the lot. The NOPD wanted to drop us off in the Winn-Dixie parking lot. It was our captain that said, get us some lights back in that lot, get us some police over there.
Where was your car at this point? What were you expecting? You were expecting to end up down in...
So I would have ended up on Canal Street without any throws left.
Right.
And then I would have just caught an Uber back with a friend to her, where my car was parked in her apartment. And this time, I did not want to leave all my things. We spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on these throws. I did not want to get rid of them. And so people were just throwing their throws over the side of the float. And then people at this point were about 100 deep surrounding the lot, unable to get inside to come pick us up. People are calling saying, come get me, come get me.
When you say lot, what lot is this? What is this?
This is across from Mardi Gras World. It's a big, giant
down on Chapatulas Street.
dirt lot. Yep.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of floats load.
Sure.
So,
Right. That's where you started out.
Yeah, and it's generally very methodic, brought in, one busload at a
right.
time. And at this point, you have women on foot everywhere, and you've got floats still coming in because people are starting to scramble, and then you have everyone on the outside that's now shown up to get people. And so it was very much fend for yourself, but be respectful.
Were you supposed to end up at a party?
No, we don't do.
There's no next ball.
We used to
at the
do.
end of this?
No, our ball is held a month beforehand.
Well, that's a good idea. So you got time to recover from that.
Emotionally, I was very lucky to have friends show up. I'm very active on Twitter, so a shout out to my NOLA Twitter peeps. And we did an all call on NOLA Twitter and said, "Who can come get us?"
Wow. Mark, are you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter.
You should follow me.
You
if you
didn't.
don't already.
You didn't go down to help out. Though.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have taken your ride. I was only going to take the ride of somebody I knew.
Ah, well, that's pretty wise.
And my friend Mary Saunier, who owns Gabrielle Restaurant, and my friend Craig Murdoch, they showed up and waited and circled, and it was chaos, and came inside and picked up the bags of throws, and we all hauled it out together. I got home around 1:30 that morning.
Jesus Christ, what a night. That must be pretty horrible.
It was very traumatizing and
Right.
difficult, and you went through this whole range of emotions from, big, big highs and deep, deep, sad lows.
And do you think there's any truth to what I've heard this explanation for this terrible Mardi Gras? Is it because there's bodies trapped in the Hard Rock Cafe?
Oh, yeah, right. Now
Have you heard that one, Mark?
I have not.
that's
no.
very big on Twitter.
We've
That
been
it's the
cursed.
it's the
It's the
it's
curse
the
of
bad juju of the body in the Hard Rock, and no, obviously
What do
this
you put it down to? Just
Mercury retrograde. No. Just very bad timing and perhaps a much needed wake up call for our community to behave better at parades.
do you think that's going to happen?
I think that we only can be in control of ourselves, and that there's nothing the city can do, and there's nothing that the crews can do. The crew rules are for the crew safety. Crew rules are for us, not for the parade goers. We don't have any rules for the parade goers. We have rules for ourselves.
You mean ourselves, meaning people who are on the floats in the crew?
Yeah, so we have very strict rules, and when you
Right.
don't abide by them, you're fined and or removed. You can get removed immediately off the route.
Okay, so you have green nail polish and
It was supposed to
gold.
be purple. It
Oh.
faded to a weird blue. I haven't
So
had
this
time.
is very fancy. So this finger is gold. That's blue. And
That's supposed to be
green.
purple.
It's like Mardi Gras colors.
Yes,
Oh,
it
I
is Mardi
see.
Gras colors, but this was supposed to be purple. It faded. There's a little bit of purple left there.
These are very cool.
Aren't they
Who
great?
did these for you?
This is Insta Salon next to Martin's
Insta?
Wine Cellar
Oh, really?
on Vets.
On Vets out in Metairie. Do you live
Say,
out that
brah.
way?
I do.
You live out in Metairie.
but not
okay.
but south of Bonneville, so it doesn't
Okay,
count.
what other jewelry are you wearing? That's very nice.
this
ring.
This was
It's like a
50% off.
rainbow. 50% off.
50% off of
Where?
baublebar.com.
What bar?
Bauble.
Bauble Bar.
Bauble,
I like
B-A-U-B-L-E.
that. It's very nice.
Isn't
It's
it
like
great?
a rainbow.
So they sell these also at Gene Therapy. And after Thanksgiving, they had them 50% off online. So I got 5 of them.
Okay, you got five rainbow. Did you give them away to people? Or do
No,
you wear them on
I
all
wear
your
them.
fingers?
They only fit on 2 fingers.
So you have to sort of double up. Well, hope that you lose some.
No, I don't want to lose them. I just will wear a different one every day. Keep it fresh and exciting.
But are they all the same or are they all different?
They're all different. They're different shades and varying gradients of colors.
Okay.
And different thickness. Some are bigger.
Okay, Mark, you don't have much.
Thank you for
have a-
noticing.
Oh, you
It's
are
so pretty.
Beautiful.
Oh, my God.
You have a wedding ring.
I have
on,
a
Mark,
wedding
though.
ring
I do
on.
not.
So you married?
Yes. I've
Right.
Been married for 32 years.
To the same
To
person?
the same person.
Really?
Amazing. That's
That's quite an achievement.
Yes, yes.
How did you get her to stay with you for 32 years?
Well, it's an interesting story. My wife's English.
Well, right there.
There you go. No, she was only supposed to come here for a year for a nannying job, and she was nannying for this businessman, and it was the first night that she was in New Orleans, and she was asleep upstairs, and it was she was jet lagged and stuff like that, and they were like, "Come down and meet your employer," and it happened to be during Mardi Gras, during a party. And everybody was dressed up in various costumes, and I was in the band playing the party. So she went up to, she went up to the bass player, not me, and said, "Oh, I'm new in New Orleans, and I need to know where to go and would be the great place to go." And good thing our bass player was really, really timid, and he was scared that this English woman was coming up, and he was like, "Mark, come over here." So I went over there, and we've been together ever since. So.
Wow, I'm sure there seems
That's
to be
lovely.
a paragraph missing there. What happened in between you saying hello and then you end up getting married?
Well, we started going out, and she started following me, and I was in a band at the time.
What was the name of the band?
The band was called The Murmurs.
Oh, that was the Murmurs. So
Yeah.
this is in the early 90s we're talking about. here.
It was 87.
Oh, was it that
86.
long ago? Who's calling us from 318?
a client. I am not answering it.
No, good idea.
This
That
is
would
a
be.
client to confirm my visit with them on Friday.
So they are in
Shreveport.
Shreveport.
Metro Aviation, they're a helicopter organization that contracts with hospitals to do the medvac.
Oh, cool. Are they sending a chopper to come and get you?
I would be amazing. I'm driving.
What a bummer, because that would be great to get a
Listen, maybe
helicopter.
after they meet me and love me,
Yeah.
then
You
they'll
get
be like,
they'll
let's hook
send you a
Julia.
helicopter.
That's right. Get
would
me there
you
faster.
Would you go in it, or is it too dangerous?
I'm frightened, to be honest, at this point, although I'm a little more frightened of twin-engine planes than helicopters.
Are you?
Well, the
The
track
a
records
small
aren't
plane.
great.
Well, no, but who knows how you're going to be killed now? Who would
There's a
have thought you would-
variety of ways now.
You wouldn't think that a Mardi Gras flight was going to take you out.
No.
I would.
You
Growing
would?
up in New Orleans, it didn't surprise me.
That,
Never
that
thought.
happened. I can't remember exactly
So
when it
they're
happened.
saying that back in 1980s, early 80s or something, maybe
sounds right.
on Mardi Gras Day, maybe at a Zulu or something. They referenced that when they did the stories.
Are you
Yeah.
guys both from here?
I'm from here. I'm
You're
from New
born
Orleans.
in,
Yeah.
born and raised.
I'm
You
like,
born
I'm
and
like
raised-
8th generation.
eighth generation.
Obnoxiously New Orleans.
I'm not. How
How New Orleans
how many?
are you?
How
You
many?
should start a show, Obnoxiously New
I'm,
Orleans.
I'm writing.
That's
that
that's
down.
basically my Twitter feed,
Okay.
essentially.
Is that
No.
what you call your Twitter feed? Obnoxiously New Orleans. That's a great idea.
No, but that is a great idea. Someone write that
8
down.
generations. How many years ago was that?
I don't know, a very long time.
How many
We
years
came
are in a
sh-
generation?
We came straight.
30?
Well, you think about like decades, right? You think about like your grandparents, great grandparents. So
Right.
my
Well,
great,
my grandparents are older than 10.
so my great great uncle designed our city's flag.
Your great who?
Great great uncle Jean Bernard
great.
Couret designed the city of New Orleans flag. We have the original papers.
What is the city of New Orleans flag?
It's the
Is
three
that-
fleur-de-lis, you know. The,
No.
Oh, right.
So
Do
it's
you know
it's
the
the
flag?
blue and
Yeah.
the red stripe with the three fleur-de-lis.
Oh, okay. That's a New Orleans flag.
That's our city's flag.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And
Do
even
you get like something
cool things.
every time someone uses it? You
always.
get a royalty.
I get a
You get
penny.
10 cents every time
Yes.
someone uses the flag in an official manner.
Completely.
That's a great system.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, no wonder you
Great.
bought 5 rings.
No
at
wonder I got them
baubles.com.
all at $15.99.
$15.99
Watch
is a good
out.
price for that.
I tell you, I wouldn't spend 30 on them.
That's all they cost for full price is $30
They're
for a fancy ring.
Bauble bar is very popular.
Bauble bar.
Bauble.
Bauble bar. I
Well,
like
that's
that.
very and
Anyway,
that's very British too. Like
so-
a jumper.
It sounds like that.
So 10, did you say 8 generations? So that's I don't
My
even know.
children alone are 4th generation at their school. So where my children attend school, they're the 4th generation
Fourth generation of Couret's. Who have been,
of both the lineage.
it sounds like Couret's syndrome
We're ridiculous. We're obnoxious. I told you we're
when you
obnoxious.
say that. Does anyone ever confuse you with Tourette's syndrome?
No.
It sounds similar.
Because it should be Couret, but we're kind of a little yatty.
Well, if you're going to say Julie, you might as well say
Julie.
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 If you're going to say Julie, you might as well say Couret. That's a good point.
It
Julie
should be, but
yeah.
at some
Julie
point
Couret
we're a
sounds
bunch of
good.
yats.
Well,
Yeah, darling.
How did
it's
Ju-
Julie Couret.
How did Julie get to stay French and Couret?
Carandalet.
There you go. My mom named us, so her name is Pat, and her sisters are Jane and Ann, and I'm assuming that she was very bored with those names and
Right.
decided that she's going to give her daughters very French names.
Do you have sisters?
I do. I have a sister Jeanne,
Okay.
and a sister Mignon,
Oh, that's very French.
Yes.
and my brother who's the 4th, right? So, New Orleans.
Oh, he's the 4th.
He's the 4th.
Okay.
And I have a newly discovered brother from Ancestry.com.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, who lives
Okay.
in Baton Rouge.
Okay, so that's a story.
That is a
Well,
story.
I'm going to get you to play a song, but first we have to hear the story.
Tell me. That's
Okay,
fine.
so let's go back to newly discovered.
So this is about a year and a half ago, and my mother's adopted, so she filled out the Ancestry.com, spit tube, and I guess it was buy one get one free because Dad got one too, and he got.
Are they still together?
They are, yes.
Okay, well that's good.
It's still alive and still together. I was actually just at my parents' house just now, ironing this shirt and
Yes.
eating food in the refrigerator like a good daughter does.
You had to iron your own shirt. Your mom didn't iron it for you.
Mom was not home,
Okay.
and Dad was asking me how to use his iWatch
So you just let yourself into your parents' house to use their iron.
and eat out of the refrigerator.
And why did you have to iron this shirt?
Because it was very wrinkly, and I
Really?
really wanted to wear it. This was the look I was going for.
Why was it at your parents' house?
It was not at my parents' house. I went over there.
So
I
you
worked
brought
out.
a wrinkled shirt with you from home.
I saw my personal trainer before this, and I did not have time to iron the shirt before getting to my trainer appointment on time.
Okay.
So I brought it with me in the car, knowing I had
So
time.
you're thinking ahead.
I had it
I
all-
have time to iron at my parents' house.
I had a window of time
Okay.
between working out. So
Okay.
back to my new brother.
Yeah, and then we're going to go and see what happened to how Mark met his wife and what happened in between meeting her and getting married. But let's first of all go.
So Dad spits in the tube
Dad
and
spits in
doesn't
the
get
tube.
any exciting news. Well, in the meantime, a man in Baton Rouge who's adopted, whose both of his adopted parents have passed away, for his 50th birthday, he receives the DNA test as a gift from his in-laws. So this man's married, he has no kids, he's released the idea of ever finding his parents, which is never something that was important to him, but he was curious what his heritage was. And he submitted his test tube, and boop, he got an alert and said, oh, here's your father. And you click on it, and it connects you. It's connected to Facebook, and he sees.
Wait.
So there's a way that you connect it's just the way that you activate your profile, basically.
This is this guy's father.
So now
who he's never heard of
and
in his life.
and assumes that,
is that right?
and assumes at age 50 he's dead. I mean, think about it. If you were 50 years old, are you going to be looking for your dad? No. You're going to assume that that's long gone. He doesn't care. He had completely
But
let
this
go.
guy's not looking for his dad.
He wasn't. He was just looking for his heritage.
Okay, wait up. Just hang on. So if not everybody on Facebook is somehow connected to 23andMe or
No. It was just
Ancestry.com.
I guess the way that we set up our profiles, you can, put
You
more
have your
information.
DNA on Facebook?
No, you have it on. Well, you have the name. I don't know. I can't. Grant, you got details here. All I know is that
it's like a court of law.
It says that
Certainly
it says this is your dad. This is his name. Check him out.
Jesus Christ. Okay, all right.
But so that was so his name's Chris Perkins, and that's his reaction. He
Chris
goes,
Perkins.
Chris Perkins. He's look. This is him. I keep
Let's
him
look
as
him up. This is
he's-
your brother. Is
yeah,
Chris
my new
Perkins.
brother. I have a brother, and this is my new brother.
Okay, but hang on a second. How
Wow.
close to this is this brother? What do you share with this guy?
So now everything
Because your parents are your real parents.
we share a father. So what happened is my dad.
Wait up. Okay. Your dad and this guy's dad are the same person.
Yeah,
And this is the guy you were just telling him how to use his iWatch.
my father.
Yeah.
So my dad's
So is Chris any good with technology? Can he?
right.
Can he
Dad,
share?
call Chris.
Really?
So
Okay, hang on. Okay, yeah, go
it was
on.
before I met my mom. My dad was a single guy, and he had a date, and it went really well.
Well, yeah.
And
Apparently.
he never saw the woman again,
Okay.
and she gave up a baby for adoption, and did not tell my father
Oh,
that she
wow.
got pregnant. Wow. So
That's his story.
he.
What
No, I
happened?
mean, Dad's like he doesn't. It was a foggy night. The details are foggy.
Does he remember this woman at all?
No.
Anything about her?
Nothing that's identifying.
Okay,
just the
so your
circumstances.
dad was the guy who was on Facebook.
Yes, and Chris is on Facebook too.
But I mean, somehow, are
Well,
you
it's not
following
some-
this market?
No, it's not
Yes.
somehow. When you go to Ancestry.com, it says this is who you're related to, and it says the relation. It says father, mother, sibling, cousin, second cousin, etc. And next to the name father, it had my dad's name. So all Chris had to
What
do
is
was
your dad's name?
Bill Couret.
Bill Couret.
Yeah.
Okay.
William Henry Couret III. So Chris looks him
Do
up.
they call him Trey?
No, we call him Bill.
No one calls him Trey.
No.
Okay, so he's on Facebook.
Yeah, my dad's on Facebook.
Okay, but how is that? I still can't quite understand how that's linked to Ancestry.
I don't know if it's linked. He might have just looked him up.
It just had his name, maybe.
But
okay,
he typed it up.
So
that
Chris
was it.
Perkins took the one extra step and put
And
it
he
on
looks him
Facebook and
up.
see if there's anyone called Bill Couret, which is a pretty unusual name.
And he looks a lot like us in our
Oh,
family.
wow.
And so my brother was running my dad's account though, because my dad's like 80 and
He's got an iWatch.
like Pook, how do I? Why does it go dark? I look. What I want to be able to check the weather.
Did you buy it for him for Christmas?
My
or something?
mom decided to buy us iWatches, my father and I don't know why.
Cool.
She didn't buy it for my siblings, so sorry.
All right. Are you the oldest or youngest?
No, I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest, so you're the baby. Are you spoiled?
No,
No, not at all.
no.
Did they just forget about you as a kid?
No,
let you
because
raise
they're much
yourself?
older. They're much older than me, so I was almost like an only child.
Okay.
It's the same situation for me.
Yeah,
I'm the last of 8.
The last
Wow, 8.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh my God.
Are you Catholic?
Of course.
Obviously. Where'd
You,
you go to
eight?
high school?
Brother Martin,
Class of
81. Yeah.
And you went to
Crusaders. Sacred
Sacred Heart. Class of what?
95.
95. So you're a lot younger than Mark.
I'm
Wait,
old.
way to point that out to him.
Well, I was just working out the math. So you're 10 years younger. Actually, no.
Than
more
who?
Than Mark. 14 years.
14.
Okay. So now you have a brother.
We have a new
Chris,
big brother,
Chris
Chris.
Perkins.
Yeah, he's part of the family.
What does he look like? Let's have a look at his
He's
photo.
wonderful. He's handsome and sweet, and just like all of us Courettes.
Well, how did he get to Baton Rouge?
He
was your
was-
dad at LSU at this point?
No, he was adopted out of South Mississippi and raised in Opelousas,
Okay.
and then just made his way to Baton Rouge.
What
He's
does he
married.
do?
He is a pest control serviceman.
Okay. For Terminix or anything?
A private, locally owned one
Okay.
in Baton Rouge. He's so sweet. He has
Let's
our
have a
picture
look at
as his profile picture. He has our family. This is the first time he met all the siblings.
Wow.
And that's so sweet. He's a love bug, and he fits right in because we're all very obnoxious, us Courettes, and he fits right in.
I'm sure he'd like to be described as obnoxious.
He would own it completely.
Okay.
He and my brother Billy and my father all went on a Father's Day fishing trip for the first time together.
Wow.
Isn't that sweet?
What does your dad think of this?
He
Does he
thinks it's
have any
delightful.
emotional sort of reaction?
He thinks it's
to this?
wonderful. He's like, this is great.
How many others has he got?
Right? Dad,
there.
stop slutting around.
And he doesn't remember this night at all.
He doesn't remember the details.
What does he remember? How much does he remember? Let's have a look.
He remembers leaving
This is you, Chris, and your sister?
one of my sisters, yes. He remembers leaving.
He does look a bit like you, doesn't he?
He does. He remembers leaving
Have a look,
the
Ash.
bar.
Remembers leaving the bar?
He remembers leaving.
Wow.
Does he remember having sex with this woman?
I did not ask my father
You
that.
didn't?
That's disgusting.
Is it?
Yes, that's awful.
Where?
Yeah.
I thought that would be the first thing you'd ask. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I did not
You
ask
remember
him that.
banging this broad
That
after
is
the
awful.
Chimes?
Okay.
Where was he, at the Chimes or what?
They were leaving F&M's, which at the time was
F&M's?
called Gerald's.
So this was here?
Yeah.
I'm not in Baton Rouge. I was just assuming for some reason it was Baton Rouge.
No.
No, the woman
Oh,
adopted
so it all
the baby
started right. He ended
out
up,
of
right.
South Mississippi. She
Okay.
may not have been from here. And Chris doesn't even care about finding her at this point.
I'd like to find her, wouldn't you, Mark?
Curious.
Yeah. Wouldn't you like to find her?
No.
Would your dad like to find her?
No. No, we don't care. We've got Chris, and he's wonderful and lovely, and he's got 4 new siblings and a bunch of nieces and nephews. His hands are full right now. He's
That's
busy.
pretty amazing. So he doesn't have any other family. You're his family now.
He has got one remaining sister who's adopted. One of his sisters passed away. She had an aneurysm in her sleep and passed away about 7 years ago. So he has one remaining sister, his wife, and his in-laws, who's one other set of in-laws, and that's it.
Wow.
And then now,
Okay.
poof, here you go.
Things are picking up. Chris Perkins.
Yeah, he's the
It's
best.
your lucky day. Okay, and
Here's
he's
an
a pest
interesting
control
story.
guy. Does he do pest control at your house now? Is it handy to have a pest control person
No,
in the family?
I use Dial 1 Franklin Pest Control here in New Orleans.
Do you?
I do,
Dial 1.
yes, I do.
Are they clients of yours? We haven't even talked about
They
what you
kind
do,
of are
but we'll get onto that
clients,
later. Hey, who do you use for pest control, Mark, at your place?
I can't remember.
You use somebody, don't you? You don't do it yourself,
No, I
do
don't
you?
do
You
it myself.
cannot.
Can you do your own pest control?
No, you shouldn't.
You
This,
used to be
this
able
was
to
not
do-
a question I expected, so no.
Yeah.
DM,
Are you
I believe.
prepared for some other questions?
No,
What were-
sure.
What were the questions you expected?
Oh, basically the kinds of stuff that I do. Playing music here. I have a series called Music from the Man Cave that's on
I've seen that on YouTube.
YouTube.
Oh, I want to follow.
It's called Music from the Man Cave, and there's not much music on it. It's mostly talking.
No,
That's
there's 1 to 2 songs
Once you
per
saw- yeah.
episode. It's like
I thought it was going to be all music.
well,
but-
it's a little bit of both.
Right.
The thing is, a lot of people who are, there's a lot of musicians in New Orleans, and I've been playing music in New Orleans for about 30 odd years, a little longer than that. And everybody knows the famous musicians that are here, but there's a lot of people here that don't know some of these musicians that are here.
Right.
And all musicians, as far as the people that I've met, and I've played and written a lot in New Orleans and Nashville and elsewhere, always have this kind of strange sense of humor, this kind of weird look on the world. And so I put lots of bands together, but I put a band together a few years ago called Carson Station, which is a band that plays a lot of my music. And I wanted to put something together video-wise that would, help my band get more gigs and stuff like that. And so I thought of this idea that there's a series called Live at Daryl's House that Daryl Hall does, and where he brings in other hit writers, hit singers, hit artists from the 70s, and they come to his house and they play and all that kind of stuff. So initially I was thinking, I want to do something like that. So we started, and we just, I got a few friends of mine that I played music with for years, and, started interviewing them, and we played, in this, my guitar player has this little shed in the back, and it's really, he organized it, there's guitars hanging on the wall, it's a really nice look, and so we just started doing songs. And then after we finished doing the songs, we were like, why don't we just have this little interview thing out on the patio? And so it became this thing, and everybody was telling all the stories that they'd had for playing in New Orleans for years, and so it just became this thing. We've had 5 episodes so far.
It's really well shot and well produced.
Well, thank you.
So who does all that? Who's making it?
Well, I direct a lot of it. the band, the band is involved in a lot of and I wanted it to be off the cuff. I didn't want to have anything scripted or whatever. Initially, we had one guy taking the video, but now we have two guys. There's this student named Carson Williams he's at NOCA now, and he's studying this kind of stuff. He's a junior.
Okay.
And
Are you going to start a band with him called Mark Carson Williams?
well, the funny thing is, the last thing we filmed was with Kim Carson, the country
Is she
artist.
related to you?
No. So it was Kim Carson, Mark Carson, and Carson Williams. It was like the Carson family singers. No, but yeah, so we... Carson is really good at editing.
Yeah,
we have two, now we have
So you
two
have two
cameras.
and you edit the thing together. So it looks very professional looking,
Well, thank
the
you.
whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting too. And there's some, I don't know if all these episodes, but the couple that I've seen have some sort of weird fireplace in them.
Yeah.
What the hell is that thing? It's like flames.
It's that, yeah. It's this little
on a table.
Yeah, it's this little.
Oh, is this the?
there's little-
I've heard of
it
this
looks
thing.
Like it looks like a crystal fire
Is
thing.
it called
It's
like fireless flames or something?
something
or,
like that.
Or
It's a
It's actual
gas thing.
flames.
It's a gas.
fireless,
It's
a
like-
fireless
No,
fire pit or
And
something.
actually, it is fire. There's
It's
a
actual
gas
flames.
thing going
It would be
under.
like if you had flames right
but
in front of us
It's
here.
I don't even know what you call it, but it is
That's
a
why
table.
I was asking you about it.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
but you can just put it like on concrete, right? And it's
Well,
it's very portable.
This is just this is a table that actually has little. It looks like little crystals in the middle of it.
Right.
And
Can you light your cigarettes off the...
I guess.
you usually see
Smoke.
those in
Are
the
they-
back of like Holiday Inns.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just something that happened to be in his, on his patio. And so
Okay.
we just had chairs all around it, and I just started joking around. Yes, now we're here before the crystal fire. Or
Oh my
something
God,
like that.
that's
It was
amazing.
ridiculously, ridiculous
It's
like
interesting.
I like
it's,
it.
It's a good. It's kind of like this show in a way. It's people sitting around talking about crap.
Yeah, and it's just we've come up with some really, really, funny stories.
It's cool.
Talking about like how bad our first song was, or our first gig was, or
Is this how musicians talk when they sit around?
Yes,
By themselves?
and that's what I wanted
Lamenting.
to get.
Right.
Well, some of it's lamenting,
Is
but
it-
some of it's just funny. I mean, it's like
There's
it's
a lot
this,
of war story type.
it is.
stuff.
It is.
I bet.
Musicians have this kind of gallows humor, and it's like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Oh, wait a minute, it just happened. And so,
Do you have a story that you tell about the worst thing that ever happened to you?
Will you tell us about it?
Yeah.
the worst thing that ever happened. Jeez, so many bad things.
Other than this conversation. What?
On
do
stage.
you have, do you
Yeah.
have one that you tell and it's your
Yeah.
turn to top everybody with the...
Well, I used to play in the 80s in my band, The Murmurs. We played a lot of cover tunes, and we played a lot of places. We played kind of regionally around the South, and we played at this place in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, called Cash's. Mm-hmm. And we played for like a 2-week run, and
Hey, that's pretty cool. You got 2 weeks at the beach.
it was 2 weeks at the beach.
Yeah.
We didn't get paid a ton, so we said let's make it a vacation. So we booked a hotel right across the street, so we didn't have to drive anywhere. And so, and you have anything you want to drink for $1. And when you're in your 20s, it's like, yeah, let's do that.
This sounds pretty good. So far, I'm waiting for the
This sounds
hammer
like
to
a good
fall.
So
idea.
it's fine. So it's fine. And they said, okay, well, on Mondays, because we had to get there like, I don't know, it's at 8 o'clock to start setting everything up and stuff. Well, like on Mondays, there's the male stripper night.
I'll be there.
Wasn't expecting that.
Is that
was-
still a thing?
It was the male stripper night, and so
Road trip.
so it was like, so we were trying to set some things up, and they had an extension that they built on
Oh,
that
like
they
a
added to the
stage
stage
for the
on
guy
the stage, yeah.
to go out and strip.
And I was just like, I'd never been to any of these types of things before.
Sure.
Yeah, right. Except for that one time at
Except for
Chippendales
that
where
one
you-
time,
where you
yeah.
picked that guy up.
But it was just, it was fascinating to me, the differences between male strippers and female strippers.
Because you have a lot of experience with the female strippers?
No, I've been to some, stag parties of my friends who got married.
Okay, so what's the difference?
The difference is, with each of the male strippers, there was a character.
Like he's a mailman or something?
No, like he's a businessman and he wants to win, or he's a cowboy, or he's a
That's
whatever.
literally what I just said.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I said, so he's like a mailman? And you go, no, he's like a businessman.
Yeah.
So he dresses up in something.
They dressed up in something.
And is there like a... Is he talking? Is there a script?
This is like
Does he
porn,
say things
sort of like the cable guy.
Well, he says...
Hi there, it's been a rough day.
He says something in the beginning. I really wasn't listening all that closely.
I need to pull over.
How many Monday nights were you there? Just 2?
There was 2 Monday nights, and then the Thursday nights were the wet T-shirt nights. And I'm
For
like...
the men or for the women?
For the men. For the men to watch.
Well,
It was for the women.
Well, this Fort Walton
sounds
Beach is a
boring.
pretty
and it's
wild
like
place in the 80s.
so we did this.
So you're the music for the strip.
Yeah,
for
so
the male strippers.
we're playing in this bar. We have to play a set before this thing goes on, and it's all, and like we're up on the stage, and there's the dance floor is right below us, so it's like wall to wall guys sitting there, and we found.
Hang on, it's wall-to-wall guys sitting where?
Standing.
I'm sure it
watching
had like
us.
the rapiest vibe you could imagine.
It was
Oh
really
my God.
awful. It was like. So we
Hang on,
had
are
to
we
pull
talking
out.
about male stripper night or wet
No,
T-shirt
this is
night?
wet T-shirt night.
Oh, we're on to wet
I
T-shirt.
thought we were doing...
So did
I
I.
got
I'm wondering why all
confused.
the
I'm sorry.
guys were there.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I was
No.
with you.
No.
No,
Okay,
a
thanks,
whole
Tom.
room full
Okay.
of women would not
No.
generate a rapey vibe.
No,
you know?
no, it was really awful. We pulled out every ZZ Top song that we knew, and we got through it, But then it was really pathetic. It was awful. This wet T-shirt night because all these young girls were doing all this stuff, and so there was one girl that was doing her business or whatever, and my microphone was sitting there, like standing there, and so she was using the microphone as kind of like a stripper pole.
Okay.
That sounds very balanced and sturdy.
Yeah, I know.
Well weighted.
Okay.
So we sit, and she's all oiled up, and so I come
So
back.
it's oil, not water.
I don't know what it was. I
What
came
made her-
back.
was she
Well,
wearing
then they say wet T-shirt doesn't have to be
Well, yeah,
water.
but
It can be wet with oil. I hadn't thought of
She
that.
embellished. She had her own.
Oh,
she brought her
some
own
things.
stuff.
This
right.
is the 80s. It was probably like some Johnson & Johnson baby oil.
Oh, baby
Probably
oil.
was.
Yeah.
But I have to go back and I have to use this mic stand.
But it smells
So I
great.
go back. I'm like, it's like, yeah.
This can't be the worst thing that ever happened
That's
to you.
not
You
the
had
worst
a
thing.
greasy mic stand from a
From
from a girl in
stripper's
Fort Walton
tits.
Beach. Yeah. How bad could that be?
Yeah.
That's the worst
it
thing that
wasn't
ever
just her
happened to
tits.
That was Monday night for David Lee Roth for 15 years.
That was no. I mean, there's been a lot of them, but that's the first one that comes to mind. Yeah.
Okay, well, that wasn't what I was expecting at all. I was thinking something to do with the male strippers and how embarrassing. And
Can you
some
talk
sort
more
of
about the shirtless men?
Yeah.
Do you have any pictures?
No. Oddly enough.
Are you
no.
dating anybody, Julie? Julie.
Julie.
I had a first date,
Yeah.
and there's going to be a second one.
Okay. How did you meet this person?
A dating app.
And now, which one?
Bumble.
Bumble. Do you have a dog?
I have children. So
Well, that's a strange
no.
answer to that
Well,
question.
how
but
can you have it? I
just-
think that's a lot to manage. 2 kids and a dog would be a lot. So
Okay.
we have guinea pigs. We have 2.
I
we
don't know
have
if there's a
pets.
guinea pig dating app, but there's a.
Must love
there's
dogs.
A dog,
No, I don't love dogs.
There's a
Like-
dog.
There's a
person.
dog?
It's called
Yeah.
Dig.
Yes,
Dig,
I've
the
met
dog
I've met
lovers
the.
dating
Oh my
app.
God.
I've met the founder of that.
It's
of,
pretty
like,
interesting,
events.
right?
Yeah, it's interesting if you're.
But anyway,
into
that wasn't
dogs.
it. Bumble. So how does Bumble work?
Bumble
Is it
is
Tinder-based?
It's
situation?
similar where you. So basically, the difference with Bumble is that the woman has to send the first message.
Okay.
But what I do is I don't have time to swipe left and right. That's too much work.
Don't have time.
I don't have the
to
energy
swipe.
for that. No.
Okay.
So what I do is
You pay someone to swipe for you?
I paid $10, and it gives me a list of all the men that swiped on me, and I just go through that.
Wow.
And then I look at them, and they don't make you go one at a time. You can see them all at once. and
Let's have a look at your photo on Bumble. What does it look like?
It's very attractive. It's.
You're an attractive-looking person. So I mean,
Thank you.
what guy wouldn't swipe on you if you're?
I know
single?
exactly,
Yeah,
right?
really?
I'm like,
so how many do
many?
you have to go through?
Many.
How many do you get on a day? Say
50.
50 guys
Easily.
want to meet you every day.
Oh, some of them already been out with. I'm like, bitch, I've ghosted you. Why are you messaging me?
Okay, let's have a look at your photo on Bumble. We're going to put this.
Okay, so it's in snooze mode, so I need to I have to reactivate it.
So that means that somebody can now, while we're sitting here, somebody can find you.
In a second, yeah. And it's,
Okay, so have you had any success with Bumble before?
well, I'm single, so what do you think?
Well, are you
So-
single? Are you looking to get married to somebody necessarily?
In life, yes, I'd
yes,
like that.
you are looking for a.
But I'm
Oh,
not
look at that.
I'm not
Okay.
looking for that on Bumble.
That is pretty hot looking
And so
photo.
you just scroll.
That's sexy. This is all you. Oh my God, look at that.
Why are you surprised?
Look at that.
I'm
That's
right
a hot
in front
photo.
of you. I'm right in front of you. Why
Yeah,
are my
because-
pictures surprising?
because-
They should match equally. That's the goal.
Look at that. There's some cute photos of you here. Wouldn't you think, Mark? You'd swipe on that, right? No question.
Yes.
Ashley is single.
I'm
Okay.
looking for I'm excited for the second date.
Okay, so who is this guy?
I'll show you. He's in my.
Oh, we've got a photo of him
He's
too. right.
he's in my app, right? So this is my inbox of guys I've chatted with. See?
Okay, we'll pick somebody for you.
But that's
Thomas
him.
is-
So
Tom-
that's him.
Okay, that's Kevin. He's 40.
And I'm 42.
42, okay. So that's his age, right? Not his IQ or anything
He
else.
seems very intelligent.
He is? What does he do you think, Kevin?
I don't think I don't know if I should say.
Don't want to say?
Hey, he's
in the-
he's an agent.
He's not in the pest control
No,
business.
I would not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
No,
Chris is
he's
in
got
pest
he's got a
control.
very upstanding position.
He's an agent.
like a law enforcement agent.
Really? I'd be scared of that. Would you want to date someone in law enforcement? What does your wife do exactly?
She's a nurse.
Oh, what kind
That's
of
a
nurse? My
great
ex-husband's a
business.
nurse practitioner.
She was a midwife in England,
Oh my God.
and now she's
That was 30 years ago, mate.
yes, but no.
They were having babies
she's-
on tables then.
She now is the
In the
head of the
kitchen.
labor and delivery department at East Jefferson.
Oh, that's
really?
wonderful.
Okay,
I thought,
so-
she might have seen me speak. I do a ton of work at EJ.
Do you? Is it true they're closing down?
It's the future does not look great.
Yeah.
What is wrong out there? That's a gigantic hospital. How could it possibly
Basically,
close
they
down?
were offered. I mean, it's we have cannibalism of too many hospitals in this area.
Is that right?
I mean, if you think about it, we've got a lot of freaking hospitals, and I guess you need them regionally, but we have a ton. And
People get sick a lot.
Yeah.
years ago, about 4 years ago, EJ basically went up for sale. HCA put an offer out. HCA owns Tulane Hospital,
Okay.
and they're a big regional conglomerate, sort of like an Ochsner. Anyway, EJ declined the offer, and I guess they were still shopping around or looking for the best offer, or thought they could survive on their own.
It's been perpetual.
But-
It's been going on for a long time.
What is the problem out there? Is it
Well,
a tough place to work? Is it
ever
badly
since-
organized?
I don't. It's been
Well,
it's
there's-
been badly organized. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
In past
Like they have a
times.
lot of turnover in their executive leadership right now.
And also, they've been losing money since Katrina.
And that's what it comes down to. So that they're not making enough money, so that it needed to go up for sale. They declined the sale, and now they're really screwed.
How do you lose money on a hospital?
Patients, beds.
People
basically.
don't. I mean, you'd think if you have a hospital and it's filled with people,
It would
and the
make sense,
exorbitant
But it's
amount
but it's
people
not.
pay.
People are going elsewhere.
people going elsewhere, and
Okay.
a lot of competition with Oxnard and other
Uh-huh.
places.
Well, Oxford seems to run the whole show.
Yeah.
And because you're no longer competing for hospital service, you're competing for all the other things that the brand, Ochsner's with the Saints, and they have all these programs and initiatives and experiences, and then it's like, and how does the facility look? People think about that. Does it look old and dumpy? Is it updated and fresh? And I'm bless EJ's heart.
So you work out there for EJ. So you're an executive coach. So good that we finally got that in 43 minutes later.
Yeah. Just what I do for a living.
Yeah. You're an executive coach. That's
Yes.
very New Orleans, though, isn't it? You can have a whole conversation with someone for years and not know what the hell they do.
That's right.
I know, right?
Okay, so what does that mean exactly? So what do you talk about out there at EJ?
So what EJ wanted me to do was,
Because they're not listening to you, apparently.
no, they had me come basically try to make people make sense of how to still feel good in the workplace, considering the working conditions. So it was the purpose of joy and happiness in the workplace, and
Okay.
I came in and talked to them about
like-
choosing still to be happy and having a mindset that supports us. Because what good is it to be bitter every single day?
So you're coming to...
But that's not what I do as a coach.
So the people who own EJ, or run it at least, decided to hire you to try and cheer up the workforce because it's such a shitty place to work. Is that basically it?
To give them, I would call it, give them tools on how they can.
But they are aware of how...
I would debate as to whether it's a shitty place to work, but that's another.
It's not a shitty place to work. It's that
Well,
they were doing
why do
it
they
in-
need to be cheered up?
Because everybody gets in services. In services are when you bring somebody in to help sharpen the tools. And so it wasn't like things are bad. It was, Julie, we've seen you speak. Do you think you can come talk to all of our staff? There's about 200 people in the room, 300. I don't know. It was a gigantic room. I didn't ask how many people were there.
Because this is only one time, so you're not going there every week doing a
No,
rah-rah,
I'm not coaching
share them
anybody.
out.
So
Okay.
that's an isolated, singular gig experience. As a coach, I typically work with managers
Okay.
and senior leaders.
I'm pretty sure I could go and cheer someone up for an hour. Come on, you guys.
Come on.
It's
But up,
awesome. Yeah.
ding. I'm here all day, folks.
Yeah. Okay, so mostly, though, you're working with people who are on an ongoing basis.
Mostly I'm coaching people in a consistent manner, helping them become better leaders, dealing with their staff, helping them overcome interpersonal workplace conflict. I do a lot of training, though. So I'm either coaching one-on-one or I'm coaching like a group of people. And I do it.
So what are you? Are you a psychologist?
I'm an executive coach.
But I mean, how do you get to be that?
Just one day said, I'm an
You
executive
just
coach.
tell people I'm an executive coach.
I mean, I've got
It's
a lot
like
of training in it. I have a master's in...
That's what I'm getting at.
I have a master's in organizational management. I had an extensive corporate background with Disney, and
Did you?
became a very proficient speaker and coach. I'm mentoring people.
So you're an executive at Disney.
I was not an executive at Disney. That would have been amazing.
What did you do at Disney?
I was a manager of transportation operations, first bus operations and then monorails. I was a
Wow.
corporate trainer and I was a recruiter.
At Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
At Disneyland? Where?
World.
Disney
World in
World.
Florida.
Orlando.
In our O-Town.
Wow.
Back in the day where like we held glow sticks
Don't
between our
say
fingers.
it like it's cool.
It was-
O-Town.
That's what we called it in the late 90s. We went to clubs and we danced like this a lot with our hands really fast.
Wow.
With glow sticks.
Going to
So you were
O-Town.
keeping the trains running on time at Disney World.
Yes. And then I became a recruiter.
For
Disney.
To
To hire
recruit-
for our college program.
what
Their
kind
college.
of people? Looking for people to
Student workers to work in the parks and the resorts.
like to dress up as Mickey. And
Which I did do as well.
you played the part of Mickey Mouse.
I was an entertainment performer. Are you surprised? That shouldn't surprise you at this point.
Were you surprised? Yes, I'm surprised.
Yes,
here.
I was
That-
surprised.
I would have thought that would be a different union.
I was in a union.
Wasn't that like a SAG or AFTRA or something? You have to be
No,
a
no,
member of
no.
Is there a
SAG and
mascot
AFTRA were not.
union?
No. We were just like it was just a unionized department. No, we were not SAG by any means.
The
No.
people who play Mickey Mouse, is that just a random person from transport?
No, so you're an entertainment. You're in the entertainment department, and you go through auditions and training. It's very regulated. It's certain height ranges and certain behaviors and skill sets.
Seems to
and,
be a certain height to play Mickey. So
yes, it's to be short.
Not tall.
Right.
Okay. So are you allowed to smoke weed out there?
I
Technically.
mean, no.
I don't think you're allowed to have facial hair at Disney, right?
Now you can. Now you can have a beard and a mustache.
Okay.
But back when I was there, you had to wear pantyhose. You couldn't even have your
You had
legs
to wear
exposed.
pantyhose?
So when I was a manager and wearing skirts to work, I couldn't even. And I'd have to wear pantyhose at 110 degrees.
Not when you played the part of Mickey.
Well, on Mickey, I wore a lot of stuff. I was very well padded.
It really was 110 degrees outside in Orlando, and you were walking around as Mickey Mouse in an outfit.
And Winnie the Pooh and Timon.
So you played
a ton of people.
Okay, you played Winnie the Pooh.
So it's a height range. So within that height range, you're approved. And I did parades and shows. So while I did a lot of autograph signing, I eventually moved into doing parades and shows. I was performing on a stage.
Okay.
Dancing around.
So when you go on a Tinder date, how long before you get to this story?
If Kevin's listening, this is the first time he's hearing about
Okay.
it.
This
So-
is pretty good stuff. I would like to hear this on a first date, wouldn't you, Mark?
Yeah,
It's been a long time
yeah.
since you've been on a first
No,
date.
usually
right?
at our
It's been
first
quite
dates,
a
it's
long
like, are you
time.
an alcoholic? Do you do
That's
drugs?
the first thing. Do you have a job?
Like usually
Right.
it's like, okay, are you really divorced for real? Or are
Yeah.
you just like saying you're divorced and you've been
Right.
separated for a week? And
Right.
like, are you an addict? Literally, like it's so romantic now.
It's a bit hard to get straight answers to these questions, though, isn't it? I mean, do you believe what people tell you? Do you really ask these questions?
Yes,
for
we absolutely, that was literally what we talked about. We're like, it's
Right.
like, do you take pills to feel better every day? And I'm like, no, I don't.
Wow. That's
like an
what's
interview.
That's what's going on in the dating world now.
Yeah.
That's the first
Ash
date.
has been looking for a few dates, right? Are you still looking?
Are you on a dating app?
No.
I've heard.
I mean, I've been seeing Chris Young for a while now.
Oh, you have? Oh, so that's
I
that's
guess I
working
should
out.
Put her on Front Street. But yeah, it's
See,
fine.
so
Oh, yeah.
he's not
And-
single.
and-
You're selling him out. Poor guy's not even single.
I forgot about that. No, but that was the last time we had this conversation.
He's
was on
not in
this
my
show.
ranks of-
And she heard you talking about this on the show. This could work out for you. Oh, you already got the guy anyway.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
I got one date.
One day.
So
but that's good enough to go if you want to go on a second date.
We have
That's
a
quite
second date.
encouraging.
we have one scheduled.
All right. That must be quite.
After this.
It's not today.
It's after this. That's
you
why I
go.
had to
Lucky
iron
you
my
ironed
shirt.
the shirt.
That's why I ironed the
Yes.
shirt.
The shirt wasn't
The
for
shirt's
you.
not for y'all. I'm going to meet a guy.
where are you going on this date?
I don't know. We're just gonna figure it out.
Oh, you haven't got a place to go?
We're gonna meet at my house and then go from there.
That's daring right
We're
there.
not like meeting in my bedroom.
No, but
I'm
you-
just like, why don't we just meet at my house?
But
And
when
then we'll just
you-
like figure out what we're doing.
What made you tell the guy where you live? I'd be scared to do that.
Because we had a 3-hour lunch, so I got to know him, and he's an agent, so he's not like a.
He's law enforcement, so he probably knows where you live.
Right? He already knew it. He's
Right.
like, bitch,
Got
I
your-
already had it.
What?
It's on
your-
surveillance.
I guess you
Got your
can't tell us
file.
what branch of the law enforcement he's in, or you don't.
No, I don't want to reveal
Don't want
that.
to say that.
No,
Unless we
no.
guess. I mean, how many are there?
There are a
NOPD,
bunch of them.
Jefferson Parish Sheriff. He's not a Jefferson Parish Sheriff, I hope.
Not Jefferson Parish. I'm not saying anything. No, I don't want to say too much. I don't know, you know? I mean, I know, but I want to be
Yeah, let's
appropriate.
not,
you
let's
know.
not jinx it. Okay, Mark, you've got all this way through the show, and we haven't played a single song yet.
All right.
I thought by now we would have 3 songs, but we're not going to have time. So, what do you feel like playing here?
All right. Well, I think we have to play this song.
Okay.
I write a lot of songs with John Papagrow, and of course he was in the band Papa Grows Funk, or he started the band, and you know they did a lot over 13 years.
Is that band not together anymore?
No, they're not together anymore.
Oh, okay.
They used to have a residency here.
They played here at the
played
Maple
here
Leaf
every Monday night.
Yeah, right.
And it was. And I've known John for years. He and I were in the '80s in these rival top 40 bands and stuff like that. And it was one time. It was a few years ago, and we were drinking at Carrollton Station, and I had a few. I was overserved, I think I was at that point. And I was like, you know, the problem with New Orleans bands? And he was like, what? So the problem with New Orleans bands is they just are worried about the groove, and they don't have like professional songwriters coming in to write their songs with them. And I was just totally talking out of my ass, you know. And he was like, okay, well, we're going away. We're going to go away for 2 days, and we're going to write some songs. And so we went. I have a buddy who has some land across the lake. And so we went, and a cabin, and so we went and we wrote a few songs, and this song ended up making it on the record, Mr. Patterson's Hat in 2007, I believe. And it's about a homeless guy that used to hang out right outside of the Maple Leaf, and he was this, you know, gregarious guy. He had a cowbell. He would be jamming with the band on the other, you know,
Right.
outside. You know, and he'd every now and then, you know, when he'd see John, he'd be like, Papa, come here, Papa, give me a beer, give me $1. You know, just one of these New Orleans characters. And he had pictures of like a lot of New Orleans people from New Orleans either know, related to, or somehow are familiar with a musician. So his brother had a band called Professor Shorthair. Or something like that. And so he had these pictures, and he just, you know, and so John just started talking to him, befriended him. Like after Katrina, he found that the guy was still there, and he hugged him. He was like, oh, I'm so glad you're around. And so John was telling me that story that weekend that we were in the cabin, and I'm like, I'm just dictation. I'm just writing down everything. Mm-hmm. And we pieced it into the song. He started playing it here. It got on an album. He played it on 4 continents, and it was on the documentary that they just had for Papa Grows Funk. Do you want it? I think is the documentary's name. So this is called John Brown. That's what it's called. All right. John Brown's dancing with the cowbell in his hand, holding court on the sidewalk, waiting for the band to jam. Street-stained junkie jacket, faded shots of short hair's band. He yells police to the mangy dog he calls Trigger Man. Give me $1, give me a beer. I wanna show you something, Papa, come over here. Everybody loves him, they're so glad that he's around. Everybody and their grandma knows John Brown. John is high and tight, tweaked out to the beat, laughing at the ladies, it ain't nothing sweet. He says, what you doing, baby, and what's going on with you? Ducks back down the alley, round that corner, back by 2. He's getting $1, getting a beer. Wanna show you something, Papa, come over here. Everybody loves him, they're so glad that he's around. Everybody and their grandma knows John Brown. When you're feeling low, you take away your pain. You smile at you and it feels like an umbrella in the rain. A saint with a crooked halo, a prince without a throne, a fictitious head of state on the sidewalk he calls home. Give me $1, give me a beer. I wanna show you something, Papa, come over here. Everybody loves him, they're so glad that he's around. Everybody and their grandma knows John Brown. Thank you.
That was fun.
Is that his real name, John Brown, or did you make that up?
No, John got that from, there's a Dr. John song in which he references the name John Brown, and
Okay.
he used that. The homeless guy's name is, all I knew was his name was Tillman.
Tillman.
Yeah, I think he's passed away. He's since passed away. But it was funny because when the album was coming out, John played the song for Tillman. And he was like, "That's about me, isn't it?" Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Well,
it
that's
was
cool.
Yeah.
So you've written a lot of songs, like over 1,000 songs.
About 1,500, between 1,500 and 2,000
Wow.
songs.
And they've all been recorded and they're all out there in the world somewhere.
No,
No.
no.
What percentage gets out there?
A very minute percentage. I started writing songs here just for myself for a long, long time, and I wrote by myself for a long time, maybe about 20 years, and been in bands and stuff like that, and played them when I could and stuff. But about early 2000s, I started writing with Jim McCormick, who's now has 2 number-1 songs and numbers of cuts. But at the time, neither he nor I had any kind of connections or anything like that. And so we started writing, and we were writing all kinds of music, stuff that sounded like Burt Bacharach, all kinds of stuff that didn't have any relation to anything that anybody was going to listen to. Then he started going to Nashville, and he started writing in Nashville, because Nashville is really the only place left where you can be a writer. Usually a lot of artists write their own music. And so Nashville does still a lot of artists that, don't write their own music or collaborate with writers or whatever. And so he started doing that, and I just was kept up with him, and I was saw that he was doing well. And after a while, I was like, yeah, let me give this a shot. I was in graduate school at the time at LSU, I got a PhD in history.
So you're a Dr. Carson.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, we
So-
know.
Have
of
not been
respect.
addressing you
Yeah,
properly
sorry,
for some
Dr.
time.
Carson. Yeah.
Professor.
Yes. Anyway, so I said, well, I'm going to give this a shot. And so I
If
started.
Jim McCormick can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Damn it. Yeah.
So I started going in 2005, and I went for a week out of every month between 2005 and 2014. I wrote about 100 to 120 songs a year over that period of time.
Wow.
And I had a publishing deal up there for a little while, so I had some cuts up there. With John, I've been able to have 1 cut from Papa Grows Funk, 9 cuts on the last record, 3 on the one that's just coming out now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
So you make a living out of
no
music?
I wish I did. That's why.
How do you make a living? We have to get out of here, so you've only got 1 second to explain it. What do you do?
I teach history at LSU.
You're a professor.
Yeah,
A history professor. You're
I'm an
right.
adjunct.
I guessed very well.
Wow.
Yeah,
good
I'm an
job,
adjunct
Julie.
professor at LSU.
He's got a sweater pullover.
I'm an
Now we're back to pullover.
yeah. I'm an adjunct at Holy Cross. I also teach songwriting at Tulane.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you're basically an educator.
Yes.
Which is kind of what you do, Julie.
yes. That's
So there you
exactly
go.
what I do. Look
Well,
at that.
full
Good team.
circle.
There you go.
How about
Back
that?
to where we began.
Yeah, exactly. So, Julie, we have to get out of here, but where do we find you?
So folks can follow
other than
me.
the state later on this
Goodness
evening.
gracious.
And in your place. With the
That
kids. Where are
sounds-
your kids
They're with
tonight?
their father.
Oh, okay. Where's he? In New
Is
in
it
New
elementary?
Orleans?
Yeah, we share custody. We're
Okay.
very
So you
good friends.
Get rid of the kids, and then you can roll in the FBI agent.
Okay.
Sounds good. So we're not coming over tonight, but
So if
otherwise,
you want
where
to
do we
find me,
you? Yeah.
Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, Julie Couret,
Okay.
or Google me, and there I'll be every Wednesday on Channel 4 as well.
You're every Wednesday on Channel 4 on the news.
Yep, on Great Day, Louisiana.
Right.
I have a weekly segment.
That's right. I've seen you on that before.
Thank you.
And I think I've seen you on Twitter. You're pretty active on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got.
And Mark's on Twitter as well. So we
Yeah,
can
I need to
find you.
find.
Yes.
I need to
So
find
Mark,
you.
where do we find you? Are you playing anywhere around here?
Yes, on the March the 10th, at D-Max on Jeff Davis.
Yeah.
I have a monthly songwriter series. Jim McCormick's going to be doing it on March 10th with me. The next month is Kim Carson. Paul Sanchez is going to be in May. John Foles is going to be in June. So we have,
So you host that?
yeah,
Oh,
it's
that
called
is
Mark
very
Carson
cool.
Songwriter
Yeah,
Series.
Right.
At D-Max.
Oh, that's very cool. That's D-Max on Jeff Davis.
Jeff Davis. Yeah, so that's the
On
second,
Monday-
second
second
Tuesday of
Tuesday.
every month, starting at 8 o'clock.
And do you tweet this out?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So we can follow you on Twitter. What's your handle?
I don't know what the Twitter is, but
Oh,
I don't know.
dear.
I do know. No, I'm mainly Facebook guy. I'm not really
Maybe we
active
can
on Twitter.
get Julie's dad to
There
handle
you
your
go.
social
No,
media for you. Scott, as I watch.
Facebook.com/Carson Station is the name of the band.
Carson Station. So if we
Carson
Google Carson Station, we'll find you.
Also, website is carsonstationmusic.com.
Okay.
So it's got all the episodes of Music from the Man Cave, a lot of live videos of us, and various sundry other things.
All right.
So you
very
can find
good.
that. Yeah.
Hey, thank you very much to the Positive Vibrations Foundation, who support arts, culture, and heritage here in New Orleans, and also to Basics Underneath, where they sell fine lingerie and swimsuits on Magazine Street. Are you looking for a bra or anything?
I always would like more
Okay.
basics underneath.
Well, check out
There we
Basics
go.
Underneath on Magazine
I'm gonna go
Street.
check 'em
And
out.
thank you very much, Julie Couret and Mark Carson, for joining
so much.
us here tonight. It's been a great show
has been
here
delightful.
for our Ash Wednesday show, which I never thought we'd get through, actually. So we've had to quit drinking. No one's had a drink the
No.
whole
Yeah.
fucking day. That's been a very bad situation altogether. But it's been a fitting end to the Mardi Gras
It's been
season.
wonderful.
Or
Yeah.
the
This has
beginning
been
of
delightful.
the next year. Thank you so much
Yes,
for joining
thank
us.
you for
That's
having
been
us.
Happy
Thank
Hour
you.
for another week. Hey, Mark, you have to play us out of here. The producer of our show is Graham DePonte. Our music producer is Monique Pyle. Christian Unruh is our music consultant. Our technical director is Thomas Walsh, and our Facebook Live feed director who put this whole thing on Facebook Live is Asher Griffith. Andrew Siroc. Siroc is out today, but normally he's our fact checker and social media connector. And our theme music is traditionally written and played by Mitch Foreman, but somehow in the Mardi Gras madness we lost that track, and so Mark Carson, Dr. Mark Carson, is playing us out of the show today. If you'd like to be on our show, you can drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com. We can also check out many other hours of Happy Hour that were recorded previous to this one, along with other shows we make here, including Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace, Louisiana, Eats with Poppy Tucker, and our award-winning podcast about death called Death the Podcast. You can find other great Louisiana podcasts as well at itsacadiana.com and it's batonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on a bunch of time-sucking social media like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can find those links on our website, itsneworleans.com. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our It's New Orleans Happy Hour Facebook page. These photos are taken today by Jill LaFleur. You can find more of Jill's photos at lafleurphoto.com. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, thank you for subscribing to us. If your podcast app has a share function, try telling a couple of friends about Happy Hour. This show is recorded live today at the Maple Leaf Bar on Oak Street in Uptown New Orleans. Happy Hour's a production of Lino Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. Andrew Duhon is on the road somewhere. If you're looking for him, go to andrewduhon.com and see if he's at a town near you. I think he might be back here next week, actually. On behalf of Andrew, everyone else around the table here at the Maple Leaf, and back at our office at Lino Broadcasting, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Grant Morris. I'll see you back here next week for more Happy Hour.